Good day, and this is the transition on Atlantic Television Network. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has commended the people of the state for making tenable sacrifices and commitments to support his administration. The governor, who disclosed this at the special event organized by the Okrika Council of Chiefs and the people of Okrika to honor the Amayanabo of Okochiri Kingdom, King Ateke Tom, at the Okrika National School field. When the king of Okochiri Kingdom, King Ateke Tom, was bestowed with the honor of Bese Poku by the apex body of the traditional rulers and the people of Okrika. Fubara advised the people to love their state and have value for the state, adding that whatever achievements that have been recorded by the previous administrations must be sustained towards the path of peace. Air operations conducted by personnel of the Nigerian Air Force have led to the destruction of 4 illegal oil refining sites in Rivers State. The illegal oil refining sites located at Krakama and Temakiri at the Degema local government area of the state were said to be active, and the sites located off Abise and Omoma were abandoned, while a statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, Cotonou boats were at the active illegal refining sites to load crude oil, and Gapquet said the sites and boats were bombed during the operations conducted on March 1st and vowed that the service, in collaboration with other security agencies, would not continue the onslaught on oil thieves until the scourge is eradicated. The Air Force operations at the Krakrama and Temakiri illegal refining sites and the Degema local government area of Rivers State came 2 months after a similar operation was carried out at the Upper Arubana area of the same local government area in December 2023, and during the operations, 6 illegal oil refining sites were destroyed. Delta State Governor Sheriff Oboriwori has called for unity following the expiration of the tenure of local government council chairmen on March 8, stressing that the elections into the local government councils will be held soon. Oboriwori, who stated this at the People's Democratic Party stakeholders meeting at the government house at Saba, said the local government council chairman will exit this coming week for the conduct of elections into local government councils. Speaking at the event in the separate remarks, former governors of the state, Dr. Emmanuel Oduaga and Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, urged leaders of the party to continue to work in one accord for the sustainable victory of the party in subsequent elections. Residents of Okorote and Akwa Ibom community have continued to agonize over the endless devastating effects of oil exploration in the area. The people have over the years lamented the negative impact of oil exploration and spills due to the activities of multinational oil corporations and companies like ExxonMobil in their local government. At Ibeno, the incessant oil spills and gas flares had no doubt affected their terrestrial and aquatic agriculture, as well as their environment, as no meaningful yield is witnessed at every harvest season. Pastor Abasi Obong John, a resident of Okorote, said the cassava stems planted over 1 year ago were yet to bear tubers, and another farmer and woman leader in Ukbenekan community, Rhoda Peters, on her part, said despite applying fertilizers to her crops, the yields were always heartbreaking due to the texture of the soil, which has been impacted by oil spills. She also said the development has caused the food scarcity and hunger in the community, which made the prices of few available foodstuffs to be jacked up. Chief Philip Atanwa, chairman Okorotip Village Council, has attributed the poor yield and persistent erosion in the community to the activities of oil companies in Ibeno, adding that before the entrance of the oil companies, the farm produce and aquatic animals from the community were the cynosure of all eyes due to the natural heritage, and expressed hope that things would change for better soon following the training of community on agroecology. The governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, has signed the new Enugu City Development Agency Bill, Enugu State Geographical Information Services System Service Bill, and Enugu State Independent Electoral Commission Amendment Bill into law. Mba, who signed the bill in the presence of the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Uchenna Ugo, at the Government House, said that the new Enugu City Development Agency law had an administrative authority to manage the development of a new city master plan that would cater for the present and future generations, adding that the Enugu State Geographical Information System Service law was for the automation and digitalization of processes for service delivery, starting with lands. A statement issued by his media office, Enugu is gradually getting to an implosion level, also commended the House of Assembly for their support for his administration and development. Special Advisor to Lagos State Governor on Housing, Barakat Odunuga Bakare, has disclosed that the state's monthly rental scheme will be enforced before the end of 2024 or early next year. She stated it during a recent press briefing of the Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Authority in Ikeja, Lagos. Odunuga Bakare reiterated that the 5 billion naira allocated for the monthly rental scheme was still set aside and untouched. She added that the fact that the scheme was slow to take off showed that the Lagos State government was still trying to perfect one thing or the other. Recall that in 2021, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, had said that the current rental model, in which people pay yearly rent in advance to property owners, has become inadequate to address contemporary realities in the housing sector, especially in cities where the demand for property is high and expensive. The governor advocated a monthly rental system, which he said will be affordable to low and middle income earners pressured by the yearly rent obligation. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has expressed sadness over the death of his former Senior Special Assistant on Works and Infrastructure, Abdul Rahim Owokoniran. Governor Sanwo-Olu, in a condolence message issued by his Chief Press Secretary, Boyega Akosile, on Sunday, described Owokoniran's death as a rude shock. Owokoniran, a former aide to the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, and former aspirant in the All Progressive Congress House of Representatives Surulere Federal Constituency by-election primaries, reportedly died in the United Kingdom this weekend. The governor said that the deceased was a young Nigerian politician with great ideas about nation building and development. He added that Owokoniran was a strong party man and an advocate of masses-oriented programs. Governor Sanwo-Olu also sympathized also sympathized with the Special Advisor on Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mr. Idris Arebe, who is a younger brother of the late Awokoniro. The governor also condoled with the immediate family, friends, and political associates of the departed, as well as Lagos APC and the entire people of Surulere. Wife of the late Ondo State Governor, Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, has described her late husband's niece, Funke Akeredolu Aruma, as shameless for supporting the sitting governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, ahead of the November governorship elections in the state. Betty spoke through her Instagram account on Monday. The governor, who was formerly Akeredolu's deputy, was sworn in on 27 December following the death of his former boss. Before the governor's death, internal wranglings had severed his relationship with Ayedatiwa, bordering on alleged disloyalty of the then deputy governor, which led to the disbandment of his aide. The State Assembly, through the backings of the governor, also attempted to impeach Ayedatiwa, even though the details of the Doe's quarrel remained sketchy till Akeredolu's death. This outburst has, however, generated outrage on social media, as many believe she should be mourning her husband and not engaging in a fight with anyone. Some appeal to her to maintain her cool on issues relating to the elections. The Kogi State Police Command has warned applicants for the 2022 recruitment of police constables to beware of fraudsters. Kogi State Police Public Relations Officer SP Williams OVA Anya gave the warning in a statement on Monday while giving an update on the scheduled computer-based test for successful applicants. The Commissioner of Police, CP Bertrand C. Onoha, while congratulating the successful applicants for the CBT, reiterates that the recruitment is absolutely free, thereby warning applicants to beware of job scammers who may want to defraud them. He advised applicants to shun any form of examination malpractices, as well as any other act that was contrary to the rules of the examination, adding that anyone caught will be prosecuted accordingly. Bauchi Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission has cautioned food and essential commodities dealers in the state against hoarding and selling goods at foods at unnecessary price hikes. The chairman of the agency, DIG Sani Usman Muhammad, who gave the warning during a meeting with the officials at major dealers of foodstuffs in the state, said such actions were not to be tolerated, as they would exacerbate the hardship for the people. He also vowed to take action against those engaging in such practices, detailing plans to ensure accessibility and affordability of food items, and urged all merchants to collaborate in finding solutions to the high prices, especially for the benefit of the less privileged. Responding, the chairman of the Bauchi Traders and Artisans Association, Abdullahi Muhammad, urged members to refrain from hoarding and inflating prices, or else face the wrath of the law. Police authorities at the Federal Capital Territory has arrested 15 suspects over the looting of a warehouse in the area. Some residents had on Sunday morning looted a warehouse belonging to the Federal Capital Territory Department of Agriculture in the Tasha area of Abuja. But hours after the incident, the Federal Capital Territory Police Command said 15 persons have been nabbed over the looting of the warehouse. Sunday's looting of the warehouse comes amidst the biting economic hardship in Nigeria. Inflation figures have reached new highs and clocking 29.90% in January, with the cost of living soaring since President Bola Tinubu declared an end to the payment of fuel subsidy. His government's floating of the naira further worsened the situation, sparking protests in several parts of the country. 1 week after the resolution of the Economic Community of West African States for all land borders between its member countries and the Niger Republic to be open, residents of the Ilela local government area of Sokoto State have appealed to the federal government for immediate action. The land borders were closed by ECOWAS following the military junta seizure of power in the neighboring country, while a motorcyclist in Ilela community, Malam Nuhu Ilela, said that the continued closure of the border had caused more hardship to the people of the community. Another resident, who identified himself as Muhammad, said it was necessary for the government to open the border without delay to allow free trade, adding that keeping the border closed was inimical to the survival of the people and had brought untold hardship to many families. You're watching the transition on Atlantic Television Network. We'll return after this short break. Please stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Welcome back. This is Atlantic Television Network Transition. Now to the rest of our stories. The Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, says the federal government plans to send some medical personnel abroad for training in certain specialties with a view to checking medical tourism and enhancing research. Alausa said that the Federal Ministry of Health was working with the National Postgraduate Medical College, Ijanikin, Lagos State, towards the plan. The health minister spoke in Lagos on Friday during the investiture of Dr. Peter Ebeibe as the 23rd president of the Ebeibe, a fellow in the Faculty of Obstetrics and Gynecology, was elected on December 1st, 2023, during the 131st statutory meeting of the governing board of the college, and he is expected to hold the position for the next 2 years after taking over from the immediate past president, Dr. Akinsanya Asibogun. Delivering a speech at the ceremony, Alausa said the ministry was developing a new curricula to solve the challenges in the health sector. Speaking during his address, Ebeibe lamented the dwindling earnings of medical professionals, medical professors and consultants compared to their counterparts in the Middle East. The Nigerian Bar Association section on Public Interest and Development Law has sued the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, over the issuance of the Central Motor Information Systems for vehicle owners across the country. The police had on December 2023 unveiled the CMRIS as one of the means to help the police have essential details of the vehicle owners in its database. However, according to the NBA Speedo, obtaining the certificate from the Nigerian Police Force cost 6,000 naira. In a letter, the NBA Speedo chairman, John Aikpopo Martins, said, and Secretary Fumi Adeogun described the issuance of the certificate illegal and issued a 7-day ultimatum on the IG to discontinue its issuance. Following the failure of the IG to oblige with their request, the NPA Speedo chair and secretary filed an application seeking to stop the IG and the Nigerian Police Force from issuing the certificates. The plaintiffs contended that no provisions under the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Police Act, or any other law gave the Nigerian Police Force, under the command and authority of the IG, the right, power, or authority to maintain a motor registry or issue certificates of identification or prove evidence of ownership called the Central Motor Registry Information Systems Certificate, or in any other name called to Nigerians. They also held that the Nigerian Police Force was not a revenue-generating agency of the federal government of Nigeria, and as such, lacked the right to fix and collect fees for the issuance of Central Motor Registry Information System certificates from Nigerians. And now to some business reports. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, recently assured Nigerians that the narrative on the current hardship will be different from the next 1 year. The minister, who represented President Bola Tinubu at the lecture by the Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka, assured Nigerians that Tinubu would deliver on his campaign promises while appealing for patience. Speaking on Atlantic Television Press Roundtable, an economist and a real estate success strategist, Mr. Ace China, better known as the mayor of housing, tasked the Nigerian government to sit up to their mandate in the provision of food and security for its citizens as an essence of governance.
The truth, and you refuse to acknowledge the truth. I think you are not ready to help the truth, because the first line of treatment for any ailment is diagnosis. If we don't know what is wrong with a place, you won't know how to treat that place. We are not suffering from economic downtown. We are not suffering from recession. We are not suffering from economic hard times. We are suffering from hunger and food crisis. It is actually worse than economic downturn. There was a recession once in Nigeria in 2008. There was even a global recession. There was a recession once when Anambra, when Peter Obi was Anambra state governor, that Anambra was the only state not in recession then. We didn't go hungry. We could eat. We didn't have this kind of crisis. And there was no forex crisis. And we could eat. And fuel was not above board. The crisis we are going through right now is that there is a hunger crisis. The protest that you're seeing going on in Nigeria is the protest for cost of living, which is the basic one, food. For the three basic needs of man, food, clothing, and shelter, a man can survive with homeless, without a home. There are a lot of homeless people in the world. A man can wear one cloth for 10 years and wash it every day. You can even go naked, you won't die. But no man can survive without food. And hunger is no respecter of English. Hunger is no respecter of promises. Hunger is no respecter of policy.
Speaking further, he maintained that hunger is the worst enemy of man and social development.
But the minister representing the president said one thing, that we should wait at least a year before, just like Wole Soyinka. He mentioned the background of Wole Soyinka. Wole Soyinka said he will start analyzing this government after 1 year. We talk about 1 year as if it is 365 days away. It's less than 90 days away. By May 29th, it will be 1 year. By March 29th, 28 days from today, it will be remaining 60 days. So it's actually 89 days from today. So how do Nigerians survive 89 days without food supply? How will you tell a hungry man to survive for 89 days? The greatest tragedy from what he said that he's not talking about is just last week here. 7 people or 6, is it 6 or 7, died at the custom point trying to buy rice for 10,000. It's not free rice, as in to buy rice at 10,000 naira. 7 people lost their life. We shouldn't be talking about Nigerians being patient. We should be talking about Nigerians and the government declaring national mourning for those 7 people that lost their lives trying to buy rice at a cheaper rate of 10,000 naira. Not for
Moving on, the Central Bank of Nigeria says it has conducted the sale of government securities, issuing 1,053 trillion in short-term instruments as part of its liquidity management exercise. At the weekend, the CBN offered 500 billion naira at the open market operations, auctions, and oversubscribed, selling 1,053 trillion, 53 trillion naira with 79% of the total bids, all the equivalent of $530 million coming from foreign investments and investors. The bank's acting director of corporate communications department, Hakama Sidi Ali, said that the development underscored the confidence the bank now enjoys from investors. She also said that the management of the CBN was optimistic that its monetary policy measures were beginning to yield positive results. Recall that the CBN had unveiled plans to sell 1.64 trillion naira worth of treasury bills in the second quarter of 2024. President Bola Tinubu says the Nigerian youths are worthy of every investment as they are educated, reliable, and proactive. Tinubu disclosed this when he visited by the Emir of the State of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, to the signing of 7 landmark agreements between both nations after closed-door talks at the Presidential Palace in Doha. The 7 agreements signed are a cooperation agreement in the field of education, regulation of employment of workers with the government of Qatar, towards the establishment of a joint business council between the Qatar Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, in addition to a cooperation agreement in the field of youth and sports. The other agreements are cooperation in the field of tourism and business events, and a memorandum of understanding combating illicit trade in narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, while the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ingilale, said in a statement that he signed titled President Tinubu welcomes multi-sectoral agreements with Qatar, set to receive Qatar's investment team in Abuja, stating that at the signing ceremony, President Tinubu assured his host of Nigeria's preparedness to welcome investors into the country, including the reforms that favor innovation, return on investments, and multiculturalism. To international news, Pakistan's newly formed parliament has elected Shehbaz Sharif as prime minister for a second term. He defeated a rival supported by jailed former prime minister Imran Khan, and the move comes 3 weeks after an inclusive general elections that was marred by allegations of intimidation and vote rigging. In his victory speech, Sharif said that as no side had a clear parliamentary majority, it was the democratic way that like-minded parties may form a coalition government. After the assembly was dissolved last August, Pakistan was led by a caretaker government, while Imran Khan was jailed in the run-up to the 6 February elections and barred from standing. Donald Trump has won a string of Republican presidential contests on Saturday, edging closer to becoming the party's candidate in November's election, as he attacked his likely opponent, Joe Biden. The former president won the Missouri, Michigan, and Idaho caucuses comprehensively, continuing his clean sweep of states so far, while supporters at a rally in Virginia said that he was a rocket on the Republican nomination and on track to secure it next week. His last remaining rival in the race, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, said is still seeking her first victory and is without a clear path to the nomination, giving Trump's commanding lead. He is projected to win all of the delegates available in Missouri and all in Idaho, while a third of delegates in the states were awarded earlier this week after a primary that Trump won. In the Virginia capital of Richmond, thousands queued for several hours to hear Trump speak, and he vowed to win big when 15 states will choose their presidential candidate on a day that will put him within striking distance of the nomination. Haiti's government declared a state of emergency and a nighttime curfew on Sunday in a bid to quell a wave of violence sparked by a gang assault on the capital city's main prison that allowed thousands of inmates to escape. The government said in a statement that the state of emergency and 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew will be effective from Sunday to Wednesday, March 6th. Both measures would apply to the West region, which includes the capital, Port-au-Prince, and will be subject to renewal. The government said that the objective of the measures will be to allow it to reestablish order and take the appropriate measures to take back control of the situation. Economy Minister Patrick Michael Bosva signed the statement as the country's acting Prime Minister. Prime Minister Ariel Henry is in Kenya. This week to sign an agreement to deploy police from the East African country to lead a UN-backed law and order mission to the gang-plagued Caribbean nation. French lawmakers are expected to anchor the right to abortion in the country's constitution in a global first that has garnered overwhelming public support. A Congress of both Houses of Parliament in Versailles, starting at 3:30 p.m., should find the three-fifth majority needed for the change after it overcame initial resistance in the right-leaning Senate. If Congress approves the move, France will become the only country in the world to clearly protect the right to terminate a pregnancy in its basic law. President Emmanuel Macron pledged last year to include enshrine abortion legal in France since 1975 in its constitution after the U.S. Supreme Court in 2022 overturned the half-century-old right to the procedure, allowing states to bar or curtail it. France's lower house in the National Assembly in January overwhelmingly approved making abortion a guaranteed freedom in the Constitution, followed by the Senate on Wednesday. The bill is now expected to clear the final hurdles of a combined vote of both chambers when they gather for a rare joint session at the former royal residence of the Palace of Versailles. To entertainment news, Grammy-winning Nigerian singer Damini Ogulu, better known as Burna Boy, has relished the declaration of March 2nd as the day in the city of Boston in Massachusetts, United States. Recall that Boston City Council recently declared March 2nd as Burna Boy's Day in honor of the singer's performances and advocacy works. The singer was formally presented a plaque by the Boston City Council at the city's leg of his I Told Them tour on Saturday. Nollywood veteran Kanayo O. Kanayo has paid a moving tribute to colleague John Mr. Ibu Okafor following the latter's death days ago. The actor died on Saturday, March 2nd, 2024, after months of battling blood clots issues in his leg. His manager, Don Singo Nguzo, reportedly said that he died after suffering a cardiac arrest at the Evercare Hospital in Lagos, where he had been receiving treatment. The comic actor has been showered with plaudits since his sad demise, and Kanayo Okanayo posted his condolence message on Sunday, March 3rd. In an Instagram post, he called his departed colleague Africa's Mr. Bean, comparing him to a famous comic character in British sitcom Mr. Bean, known for his hilarious adventures without speaking. John Okafor, Mr. Ibu, is the most outstanding comic actor by conduct. He didn't need to say a word to evoke laughter. His main body movement, etc., was comic. He embodied laughter. Mr. Ibu's health issues came to light when he celebrated his 62nd birthday inside a hospital room in October 2023. He solicited public donations to prevent the amputation of his leg, but eventually lost the leg in November. The actor was unable to fly abroad for better treatment because doctors deemed him unfit to travel due to his condition. Mr. Ibu acted in more than 200 films and will be remembered as one of Nollywood's most popular comedians. A last-minute Kazie Godswill goal gave Rivers United of Nigeria a dramatic 2-1 win over Dreams of Ghana on Sunday and a place in CAF Confederations Cup quarterfinals. Dreams +4 won Group C on goal difference from Rivers +2 after both West African clubs accumulated 12 points from 6 matches. Club Africain of Tunisia spoiled their chances of securing a place in the knockout stage of the African equivalent of the Europa League when surprisingly held 1-1 by Academica Lobito of Angola. The Tunisians finished the most hotly contested of the 4 mini-leagues with 10 points, while Lobito managed just 1. Modern Future and Zamalek of Egypt, the title holders of USM Alger of Algeria, Abu Salim of Libya and Renaissance Bakane of Morocco, and Stade Malien of Mali are other quarterfinalists. Bakane twice, Zamalek, USM and Stade have won the Confederation Cup, while Salim, Dreams and Future are the first-time quarterfinal qualifiers for the knockout stage. Hoping to become the first Nigerian winners of a CAF competition since Eyimba lifted the 2005 Super Cup, Rivers fell behind after 40 minutes in Uyo when Abdulaziz Aissa scored for Dreams. It was a derby delight for Manchester City, who came from a goal down to cruise to a comfortable win over rivals Manchester United on Sunday, thanks to the star of the show, Phil Foden, who netted twice before Erling Haaland put the icing on the cake. The 3-1 win ensured that they stayed close to within 1 point of Premier League leaders Liverpool, ahead of both sides meeting next weekend. Marcus Rashford's wonder strike had fired United into a shock lead at the Etihad. Haaland was then guilty of a miss that will go down in Premier League folklore when he fired over an open goal just before halftime. Foden ensured City did not slip up in the title race as he blasted into the top corner to level and produce a composed finish 10 minutes from time. Haaland then rolled in his 6th goal in 4 Premier League debuts against United to atone for his earlier miss. An 11th league defeat of the season for United leaves Erik ten Hag's men 11 points adrift of the top 4 with 11 games remaining. And that's the size of today's transition. I am Raymond Ken Mbata, and you can follow us on our social media platforms: Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, and Instagram, Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for staying tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact